Tanim Ahmed, special correspondent of Dhaka Tribune. I have with me Afsan Chowdhury, a commentator, a journalist, and a professor of history. Welcome,
Thank you.
Afsan bhai. We, as I had mentioned, we would be today we will be speaking about the PSC question papers that have recently gone viral on the social media. I'll just start with three questions that I picked out at random here, just to give an idea of how the questions are, what kind of message they're sending out, and so on. So this is one question. This is Bangladesh and Global Studies. It's a question paper, board examination question paper for grade 5 students. One of the questions: at the time of freedom fight, you were a student of grade 5. You saw that Pak army taking away your father. What would you do then? A. Would hide. B. Would cry. C. Would protect. D. Would inform freedom fighters. And I am quoting this verbatim from the question papers. This is exactly how the questions were written in the question papers. Another question here. Environmental balance is destroying by overpopulation. What is your suggestion in this case? A. Will tell to look after trees. Will tell to plant more trees. Will tell to keep environment clean. Will tell to celebrate Environmental Day. A third one. Raju gets more food than Meena. Meena is depriving from the right of M dash. A. Right of law. B. Expressing of opinion. C. Consumption of property. D. Gender of equality. Afsan, how we've all, many of us have come from the same system that we see here. I mean, we have come from the Bengali medium system. We've taken the board exams. We were familiar with these kind of questions. I mean, we've gone through the same process. It was never like this. How did it get to this
stage, this level? Yeah, thank you. I mean, I don't think it is a big shock for someone like me who teaches, even although at the university level. My wife is a school teacher, so but the point remains is that at this level, when we are talking about this kind of question, it also reflects not so much on the quality of students that we are generating, it's also the quality of teachers we have already generated. Now, the education system itself has become so mediocre that to expect anything other than this would be really shocking. I would be shocked if something else came about. When I lecture, and my university is an English medium university, I know very well most of them will not be understanding, except for a small few. So I often will also follow it up with Bangla explanation of what I'm saying in English. And I know it is almost impossible for them to access English materials. But more than that, forget the language thing. And the language, of course, is quite interesting, let us say. But the point is, what are you looking for in your education system? That is what the key. I mean, I take a class on critical analysis, so where we deal with variety of issues critically. We try to encourage. And I notice that the students are not comfortable with critical thinking. It is a fact. No matter for the fact that a university has been told we must think critically, encourage critical thinking, the questions need to be critical thinking driven. People are not comfortable with critical thinking. You agree, your safety, your prosperity is an agreement. So if you look at the questions, they are being driven towards an agreement, and they are not being asked to contemplate on anything. Now, our education system is loyalty driven, which means agreement driven. Our education system is not critical, and our education system does not encourage critical thinking. It is unsafe socially, politically, economically. It is a result of that kind of a system. So I don't think we should be shocked or surprised.
Right. So there is still a minority or some people who are not in this system, who we hope are better educated and perhaps more enlightened. Now, the majority of people, these students who graduate and eventually go on to run the government and become politicians and run the entire show pretty much, On the other hand, the minority who are genuinely educated and enlightened, they will eventually have to have a face-off. They will have a clash or a conflict. Would you think that's eventual? Where are we headed?
I think the clash and the conflict thing is really not going to happen much, because we have a system which has become totally mediocrity driven, totally agreement driven, and totally therefore loyalty driven. So it is safe to be loyal. I call this universally Bangladesh has a yes sir culture. So when the society has a yes sir culture, agreement is the key to be safe and to be happy. So at the university level, we are also producing at a different degree the same kind of students. If you are at the PSc level, and I have talked to people who sit on the PSc board, he said it is astonishing the kind of graduates that we are producing. I would say it is not astonishing, because you are assuming that this is a normal education system, it's a normal educational pattern. But if you look at the fact that the Dhaka University teachers have fought each other, beaten each other up, then you cannot say this is a normal education system. This is an abnormal education system. An abnormal education system where you cannot discern, where you cannot make a difference between the behavior of a political cadre and a university academic, means you are not making a difference between the fact that the closer they are towards each other, when you cannot differentiate between a political party cadre who beats up another cadre and a university teacher, you should be able to say that your system or your state or nature of the state itself has changed into something quite different. The objective of the education system is not to produce intellectual thinking beings, but activists, party loyalists, and so on and so forth. The people will not spend too much time thinking, people will follow orders, people will carry out whatever is told to them without any question, and everyone will be happy.
It seems like a very dark tunnel. Do you see any light at the end of it? How to resolve this?
No, I don't see any light at the end of it. What I noticed, even in my class, and that's at the university, so I cannot say that, I noticed that we are producing a upper class, even within, and I basically teach middle class students, upper middle class students. I think we have a small percentage of students who are very good, no matter from where they are coming from, and they are spending their parents' money. Sometimes their parents are not well off, they are spending their parents' money. We're totally committed to education, getting an education and entering the huge middle class workforce, trying to enter the middle class workforce. So the middle class looks like this. The tragedy is of the rest who are not getting that kind of an education, who haven't got that kind of an education. But by the time we get students at the university level, we really cannot do much about them. They're already done, ready, prepared. And that is the crisis we're facing. Now, if you look at employment figures, when you see that the job market is shrinking, which actually means more competition for these limited number of jobs, that is where the crisis is happening. Now, you are going to take the civil service cadre from the public university system, and they are already, and I hear them say in the public service, some of them, we have made sure that we are known as loyalists, that there is no question of doubting us. And I think that is more or less given. But the point is, most of the students do not study in the public system. They study in the private university system, public college system. And if you look at the question paper crisis,
yes,
it is a result that surely this administration, not this political administration, administration as a system, is not interested in quality education. Now our anxiety, our pain comes from the fact that we are on one hand expecting quality education, on the other hand we know the reality is not quality education. So we are not, this is the reality and the expectation that is having a clash. And once we have come to terms with this, that no, this is the level of education you will get, then I think we will be much happier.
Thank you very much, Afsan.
Thank you.
And that will be all.